I won't name him names, but he said to me, I asked, how do I win games from the offlane? How do I climb MMR? He said, just carry, bro. Just pick carry. That's how you win. You never rely on your team. So you heard it here first, chat. Just never.
Oh no.
Never play with your team ever.
Just solo.
Yeah. He was like, just pick Beastmaster and farm. Why not?
Oh.
And look where we are now.
Yeah, Beastmaster is an interesting one. Like in the Chinese region, it's not really that contested. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Europe, I don't know, in Western Europe as well, the hero is a bit more popular, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, in China, we had a different meta from the get-go. Like the first couple of weeks, PSG LGD and all the other teams, they've been drafting something that's different to any other region. Treant was one of the most contested heroes in the first stage as well. Kind of fallen off since then, but what I'm trying to say is PSG LGD in that draft didn't look like anything to me that they've drafted before in the seasons, right? It was a little bit different, and it's a best-of-3 series. You are allowed to experiment a little bit in that first game.
Yeah, and I mean, I would not to continue harping on it. It's also a very rare ban situation to see all supports coming into the first phase ban the way OG did. So
yeah, you should harp on it because it's something that you really don't see very often. It's an interesting thing.
It does just feel like, in general, this tournament, LGD have taken a new approach to drafting. Like, we saw Nothing to Say's Winter Wyvern, right? He played it twice before this tournament. They're clearly experimenting or trying things, looking at other teams and what they're doing, and implementing it, right? We saw them picking up the Earthshaker. We saw them now trying an ALK 5. I just think now it's time to focus up.
Yep.
I mean, this is going to be a deja vu from game number 1. OG, they are dire once again. LGD second pick once again, so...
In the best of 2, when they had second pick, they would ban out the Razor or the Viper, but this time around, like Lacoste said, hero that should be very contested and is out now, right? The Chen.
So that means Puck is available for OG if they want to straight pick it. I mean, PSG LGD probably expecting Puck to get out here. There's still Razor as well, so maybe a bit of a mind games happening. OG didn't decide to go for Razor. I think during the DPC there was like, oh, if it's available, they're gonna go for it. But I think Puck, they're gonna go with Tiny.
So the thing about Puck is, if you do go for the Puck, there's the Tiny answer, right? Like there's not only the Tiny, there's a Lone Druid answer on the side of PSG LGD that they might go for. So instead, OG goes for the Tiny. They could still go for Puck here, though.
Yeah, it looks really good to have something to break the coil. You don't care too much about Marcier's rotation. Viper doesn't provide with any kind of lockdown ever, pretty much, against Puck, so you will be able to dodge that, and looks really good. Or if they want, the other approach is whether they need to get the hero in the safe lane that could potentially sustain against Marci and Viper, because this is one of the hardest lane to play into. It's just way too difficult. You're out of position. They close the gap. You give move speed to Viper. This Marci is going to bring a couple of mangoes to lane. Keep feeding the Viper. Very difficult lane, whatever you play. So maybe not now, but I'm leaning towards Puck still.
Yeah, Puck now for OG, perhaps somewhere in the future, and Enchantress is an option as well on that safe lane, because you cannot win by brute force against Marci and Viper. However, by playing the lane in a little bit of a different way with Tench, getting the right creeps, it can become at least a little bit easier. Puck is there.
Imagine taking that long to pick Puck. That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know if I'm reading this stat line correctly, but it doesn't look like LGD is a team that is that scared of Puck, though, in their matches that they've played. I mean, they've lost 1 game.
2 games now.
Yeah, I guess 2 games
Let's
now.
Go.
1 game's in the groups, and Puck was a constant nuisance in all of those matches, and they always had an answer.
They won versus Puck when OG was playing it, so...
That is true.
And they didn't truly get any big answers in that matchup. Like in the first game that they played versus a Puck on the side of OG, they went with the Void Spirit, a hero that like very often actually gets destroyed by Puck in the mid game. But if you have the advantage, if you do get that Aghanims earlier, it can be rough for a Puck as well.
What I would like to see with this Viper is heroes that can just fight a lot with it and bring attention to his side of the map, or like just ways to enable him to be able to fight. Because when a Viper is naturally slow, very little mobility, you want action around him as opposed to trying to bring him to different things. And then like if you can make a fight happen around him, then you can maybe like smoke and look for like a second point of action for him.
I'm still looking at the mid lane, some of the heroes. I would love Kunkka to get banned from OG. Very nice matchup against the Puck. Like you don't necessarily need to go for bottle, double bracer. You do dominate the matchup, and you mentioned that Void Spirit. I've seen so many Void Spirits suffer against Puck. You get coiled, plus one extra hero rotating, whether that's Tiny or something else, especially if you don't go for the Yule Scepter, so to potentially break the coil and also remove the silences can be a bit of a difficult matchup. I know that teams have been picking it instantly as a response to Puck, but from the games I've seen, it just doesn't look as strong as it sounds.
Yeah, it's just the PSG LGD picked it versus OG's Puck. They won with it, but most teams are still losing. That's the idea, I guess. Like, idea is also pick your poison. Like, Puck is way too strong at the moment. It's a general idea that's shared by plenty of the pro players as well. So what do you pick against it? If you aren't picking the Void Spirit, I guess the Kunkka is still an option that some teams have went for.
I think you have a few options. The Kunkka, obviously one of them. I really like Death Prophet too. Just this patch, she's looked really, really strong. And like another option of like working with this Viper is instead of trying to bring action to him, you force action. You walk with your Viper, with your DP, with your Exorcism, and you just take map space, you take objectives.
You know what, like before, that was the worst thing about Viper. You dominate the lane, but then afterwards you can find yourself kind of stuck somewhere. You don't really know what your idea in the game is. However, since the changes to the shard that allows you to buy it 15 minutes in, like Viper became a different beast. He's coming for your towers, you like it or not. He's forcing you, if nothing else, himself to go and fight.
Well, you talked about that Void Spirit, but he is now banned out, so...
Yep.
To address this Puck situation happening on the side of OG, perhaps maybe they're looking for something on the support line because Marcy could still flex 4 or 5, right? So would like something like a Earthshaker or a Tusk be something that they'd be considering?
I feel like Marcy, Earthshaker, and Tusk are usually, you get one of these three. You don't necessarily need them together, as they accomplish a similar objectives in the game, right? So maybe a different position 5 just for Y, something that's teamfight oriented.
This definitely looks like position 4 Marcy here, because I mean both Y and Jinkyu do play it, but looking at some other heroes, if they feel like they need a bit more team fight that needs to be brought, Phoenix is up there. Not the strongest laner, or if they want to focus a bit more on the laning stage, because they did lose pretty much all 3 lanes in the previous game, Enchantress is still available.
Yeah, as they do have the break already on their side with the Viper, they can also be thinking about heroes such as Bristleback. So you could go for, like, they only have 2 picks, right? Like on 15 and 16th, right now you can completely change your draft and the way you're looking at it. This could be a combination, like Kotl Bristle right here. Like anything can happen.
Yeah, they also have been the other team playing around with this Elder Titan. Dazzle's still in the pool. There's quite a few 5s, I think, that can work for them right now. I really like Elder Titan's reach as well. It's not, you're never going to stun the Puck with it, right? But it is like long reach to help defend your towers, set up for these kills, help Viper get into a fight.
Sheep, you usually love Snapfire. Do you love her for this one?
I always love Snapfire, but I talk about her so much. Yeah, for sure. Like with Marcy being on your team, it's nice to have 2 active supports, and LGD can actually defend their towers, right? I just don't think Y plays it. Or hasn't played it at least this tournament.
It could be good on OG as well, right? Like you have that recoil already.
But Jinkyu has.
Yeah, but then you're putting your Mossy on 5, right? And I think you want to pair it with your Viper.
That is a Pudge.
That is a Pudge.
Wow.
Yep. They played, PSG LGD was one of the first teams to play it on that position 1 in the seasons. It can be on the mid lane as well, but yeah, it's an interesting one. How do you feel about Pudge, guys?
It looks good most of the time. If they want to have something that destroys Pudge, I wouldn't mind seeing hero like Slardar picked right now, because OG does have 2 picks and PSG LGD does have 18th pick.
Oh, we lost.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'm going to ignore Fear, and that hero sucks.
Okay, look, the Prophet is an answer to the Viper lane kinda as well, right? Like you can just send the treants like, back in the day, even on the mid lane, you would play the Prophet into Viper.
This conversation comes up every single draft panel that Natures has picked into Viper, but then the actual reality is this Natures has never outscaled other heroes, and the ability to get on him this game with Marcy, with Pudge is already like, it's very scary, and they have another counter pick to come out. You're playing against LGD. They will Spectre you without like hesitation. I mean, maybe a bit of hesitation, but there is like that threat there, right? And then your Nature's Prophet is really struggling.
Yeah, if they do want to Spectre you, that means the Pudge is mid, and that can be a hit or miss, right? That can be a tiny issue, but the Elder Titan that you talked about on OG is picked up. I just love having Elder Titan 5 with heroes such as Prophet, Drow Ranger, anything that's ranged, and then you just man up and run at people with your briefcase.
Yeah, this does kind of give a little against the Spectre, right? As an agi carry, you really suffer against the aura that like reduces all your armor. That's why people sometimes just default to like strength carries or stuff with like damage reduction, like an Ursa. I'm not sure what they want to do. I know Nothing to Say has played this Pudge, and I do love this Pudge, by the way. Puck is a hero that wants to like silence you, stop you from using your spells. If you're rotting, if you have this damage reduction up, you are able to just stand there, and it makes Puck, who wants to sit on you and be really annoying, quite awful for them.
I mean, as a lot of people, I do like Nature's Prophet as a respond to Viper, but then again, you're playing into Marcy, one of the heroes that can easily close the gap. You want to keep the distance, but Marcy takes care of that trouble, and also you're going to be playing into Pudge. So
the Spectre.
Speaking of Spectre, that's the global presence, and I mean, they did pick this Elder Titan probably preemptively, thinking that Spectre could come out, because later on, once your aura's maxed out, if you manage to get on top of Spectre, it's not going to feel as strong. And looking at the heroes, Nature's Prophet does build into Silver Edge, so having a break mechanic against both Spectre and Viper later on is going to be good. It's just that this is Spectre, Ame Spectre, I'm going to bring it down one more time, 0 and 8 against RNG, still managed to make a comeback, but Fate Beyond did carry hard that game.
Yeah, the Iron build is so good as well. Like, you go the Manta, the Skadi, the Basher, and it's basically impossible for Nature's Prophet to play. It doesn't matter, even if he gets the Satanic and stuff, you're just being locked down super hard.
Historically, it's always been a hero that demolishes these glass cannon type carries, right? Like your Prophets or anything that likes to keep the distance cannot play against the Spectre. My issue still remains kind of similar for PSG LGD. You have this Pudge mid, and he's going to have to be very active, and as of late, Pudges have been perhaps not as active, going for all the Aghanim Scepters, Vanguards. Like, it takes a little bit of time for you to build all that up, but it's possible, it's doable. Like, with the Viper, with the Pudge, they can have these 2 semi-cores that enable the Spectre in the long run.
A little surprised PSG LGD did not ban out Slardar because it looked really good, and the OG immediately did pick it up. So you will have a good lane matchup in the lane against Spectre. Like, Spectre doesn't really do anything to this Slardar unless there's gonna be like they focus on the off lane. They do manage to. Okay, so is this? Yeah, that's a 5 Viper.
Okay, that makes the lane a little easier, but he can die quite quickly if tossed back by the Tiny. You have to be really hot on your positioning in this lane.
It does help them quite a bit, though. I love the Beastmaster pick. I think it at least brought the lanes 45, 55 or something back in their favor. It was way lower before.
I think OG does have an extra step in this one. Having a Nature's Prophet played from potentially on the off lane against Viper 5 and Spectre works really nice for Viper, and then you have Slardar against the Beastmaster. You don't like to play into Boar, but it's also Marcy, so playing into 2 melee heroes, this might be the lane setup for OG.
So are you feeling confident here that OG is going to be taking this one? Who are you swinging your vote for here?
I can't believe this, but I'm actually going for OG 2-0 versus PSG LGD. The first draft that they had, I felt that it was decent. This one, I think that it's just better.
Okay. I'll hit for LGD. I really like the Marcy pickup. I think it's going to like provide them a lot more activity on the map. I think this Beastmaster is just going to want to control like top side of map really hard, and like if they can pull a lot of attention there, Ame can hit his item timings. It just kind of rides a lot on the Pudge.
Okay.
Well, we'll find out soon enough if OG can 2-0 here. Casters, take us away.
All right. We did it. We did the worst intro in major history. Congratulations, guys.
It was because Pudge was standing like that, to be clear.
Yes.
To be clear.
It started with the animation from Valve.
Right.
We were in game number 2, OG versus PSG LGD. OG with a 1-0 lead, which was shocking. More so, not because they lost necessarily, but because they lost so badly.
Yeah.
And now we have the Pudka, and I'm glad that, for once, I'm glad that Jenkins is with us, because you are a Pudge expert, or self-proclaimed at least.
No, I'm terrible at this hero.
Okay.
Of course, everybody is. This hero is quite pathetic, but one of the most fun guys to watch, and a little bit less. It was like kind of like a 10 out of 10 on the pathetic scale before, and now that Flesh Heap is an actual ability, very literally, and the fact that it's not completely useless, he's like a 7 out of 10 on the pathetic scale until he gets the Ags, and then he's a god.
Okay. Quinn, what are your thoughts on Pudge?
I think the hero is better now that it's been in a long, long time. I think the hero is actually a viable core some games. I've seen there's a lot of Chinese players who have experimented with Pudge versus Puck. It's like actually a counterpick. Ori has done this sometimes. Nothing to say has done it some in China and pubs and stuff. So they clearly like think that Pudge is a counter to Puck. I'm sure they had this in mind going into second phase. That's part of the reason why they gave the Puck away. I'm curious to see how it pans out because there are heroes that Pudge is not very good against besides the Puck.
There's Amar, right-click battle. The hook comes in from Nothing to Say. And some damage being done to Amar, and you can see why with that support Viper getting out the poison attacks. Will this lead to a kill? Looks like indeed it will. Who gets the first blood? Trying to give it to Nothing to Say. One more right-click does it, and that is beautiful for the mid laner on PSG LGD.
The tip.
One last hit, he's going to get his bottle.
He got the treant as well to start things off, so a great start for him. And like you said, China has had the most success with this. Obviously, we cast a lot of Europe and especially NA, and it was quite bad in those regions.
Really
yes, there was only 4 Pudge, and it's very bad.
I don't think you played any core Pudge this DPC, right?
In officials, I do not think so.
Yeah. But in Scrim.
How did those go?
Yeah, how did those go?
Top secret info, my friends.
Okay.
Only Gaben gets to know.
Not so well. Not so well.
That sounds kind of bad.
Guys, don't fucking spoil my fucking my secrets here.
But yeah, what do you guys think of the both lineups?
I think this Beastmaster pick is pretty salvaging for LGD. I think before that pick, their heroes were sort of very like vulnerable to getting run at and ransacked by this like Puck Slardar sort of like all around in the fight and being really annoying. So I think this Beastmaster gives them more like structure and allows them to sort of stand together and like actually fight back. It gives someone to help this Pudge.
Fairy Fire Sep actually stays alive. Nicely done. But now with very little HP. Jenkins, what are your thoughts on the lineups?
I'm going to go ahead and go for the Pudge lineup and say that one's a lot better. No, I feel like LGD, they weren't messing around with the lanes in this game. They started with the Marcy Viper. We talked about it. It's like there's very few heroes that do well against the Marcy Viper in lane. Nature's Prophet comes out, and then they flex so that there's the Beastmaster on the off lane instead. I thought that was pretty cool. And I do feel like Pudge is actually a Puck counter. I can't say exactly what it is, but in fights, it does feel like you can pretty easily kill a Puck, and Puck coiling you does nothing.
Yep, why? He's dead, but will Amar be the trade? One more right click will do it from Ame, and he finds him. So 1 for 1, but favoring PSG LGD as the Viper is the support. Ame getting forced out of the lane for now, though. And in terms of like the Spectre gameplay, I mean, we can talk about itemization later, but does this feel like a game that he can take off? Because the Juggernaut game was, I mean, the laning stage he lost horribly, just never caught up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be taking off this game, but I do think he'll have a better start. His Viper's probably going to sacrifice. I imagine there will be some more kill trading going on. It's kind of volatile at this point since Viper just TV'd back in, so if there's a bit of a mess up...
Oh,
whoops.
Oh my, that's a Jenkins hook right there.
No, that's because of the low ground, it's like kind of the Z-axis. Yeah, the Z-axis is a bit of a problem, so that happens.
It's like that with Pango, too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yuragi getting some help thanks to the Echo Stomp from Seb. Allows Yuragi to kind of reset here. And Seb with that extra damage, trying to use it to his advantage, but instead he's just going to get disposed and disposed of.
Yeah, he wanted the boar. He was going with the big damage, trying to like two-shot the boar, but hits it once, and he's like, oh shit, actually I can't kill this. But a little too late.
All right, and when it comes to, I mean, BZM, obviously the Witchblade is going to be the standard item opening for him. And top lane, okay, they get a very valuable kill onto Yuragi. And, I mean, how is this lane going? There's a lot of back and forth, it feels like.
I think it's pretty bad for Dire because this lane gets way worse for Dire as things move on. It's like most Furion lanes is the early waves are insane because the hero has like 1 billion damage and like 2 extra attacks. But as things progress, the hero doesn't actually get any spells. So as they get like level 2 and 3 boar, they might just keep chain feeding here.
Okay.
They do have the bright spot that Puck can potentially TP up there and turn things around, but in this matchup, he's like mega rushing Witchblade with no boots, no null, no anything like this because you kind of want the damage against Pudge. So the downside of that is he's not going to have this boots early to rotate top, and it's possible he's low on regen because, you know, Robo Magic doesn't give you any regen, not buying Raindrop.
Oh, trying to contest the rune. Taiga gets off the nice avalanche and toss, and BZM takes it. And now that's going to turn into a kill into nothing to say. Absolutely punished. Beautiful TP from Taiga. I didn't think he was going to get there in time, but it really worked out for OG.
Yeah, that is pretty rough. This Puck hero, when it has a free game, is an absolute monster. They really don't have the means to gank this guy mid so much, so they're just going to keep pressuring side lanes and just let mid be mid, I think.
Another dispose coming from Jin Q. Faith Beyond. Echo Stomp comes. Is it enough time? No. With the boars looking to finish off Seb, Faith Beyond gets credit for another kill there. Maybe we'll see some more hooks on runes instead since you do get refreshed, so he doesn't have to put himself in that position. But from Nothing to Say's perspective, the phase boots will be the opener, but are we going to see... I've seen more position 1 Pudge, so I don't know if there's any difference, but are we going to see the typical rush of like a Vanguard or a Hood or whatever and then into Ags?
It's different. I've seen a lot of Blink Rush from mid too, depending on how active you think that you need to be for the game. There's Vanguard, Hood. I think like 3rd item, Aghanim Scepter, maybe even 4th item Agnum. Maybe that's a bit griefing. You can go like, if you're including boots, I think 4th item Ags, but like, yeah, Blink is probably the item this game.
Okay. Almost dispose on the Seb, not able to get to the high ground though, onto the cliff.
Yeah, you can sort of opt for some other things. I've seen a lot of Chinese Pudges do like phase boots into BKB. This game BKB is kind of crap, so probably won't buy it first item. I could definitely see the Vanguard. But even Vanguard, they have the Slardar amp and they have quite a bit of magic damage, so it's like not that easy for him to itemize in like some super, you know, like ideal way.
Yep, the crush onto Y, Nothing to Say. Now has his hook back as Taiga finds himself inside that disgusting rot. Along with the right clicks from Y, that is a beautiful combination, and Nothing to Say. Second stack of Flesh Heap.
Bottom lane is going very well for Radiant. The Slaughter hero does not like to be behind like this because he doesn't have an HP regen source, right? So he functions on making you low and abusing that fact. So if Ame is like able to man up like this and make him run away, at some point this Viper comes back, and if the Slaughter is not in a position to like be dominant and boot you out, there's going to be a Beastmaster encroaching very quickly on the other side of the map if OG doesn't get like a cute turnaround fight there.
And Ame went for an Urn too, so if they can get 1 kill onto Amar, then like anytime he steps back up to the lane, he's just going to take an Urn charge and a few Viper hits, and he's back down to like 40% HP again.
Yeah, I mean, you can see him totally full zone from the lane. In contrast to last game where he's getting every single CS and Ame's getting kicked out. It's like the complete opposite. He's like cowering in fear, like a level down with very little gold, which I don't think is a position that Amar plays from very much.
You can see in the mid lane, Nothing to Say. Despite that death, still pretty damn even in the CS department, so he's, like I said, other than that, pretty much uncontested right now, and feels like it's going to be pretty difficult to kill him without a coil into like a toss back situation. Obviously, Amar not really playing the Slardar that we're used to seeing on other players, although he's kind of made other people adopt this style of going like the Mask of Madness, just pure right click, so he's not really going to be rotating a whole lot to start the game.
My theory on the Mask of Madness build, why I think I know Amar's always done this, but I think it's a lot stronger now that you have the little puddles that follow the person when you Corrosive Haze. You can just like stick on somebody now. Like if you haze them and run after them, like you need somebody to TP in to save them, basically.
Potential rune fight coming. It looks like they're actually going to sack the rune and instead attack this top tower.
Yep, Seb initiated on, dispose. They don't even need to bother dismembering. So another stack of Flesh Heap for Nothing to Say, who's off to a very good start. So has his phase boots full wand, and now 800 into the Blink Dagger, like you mentioned, Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, while things may look good for LGD right now, there is this Witchblade coming, and that's the thing about this Puck when he goes this build is he's going to AFK farm for a while, but he's going to get the Witchblade very fast. So there will come a point where suddenly his damage just has this massive spike. And OG, despite being down some gold maybe, or some tempo, will have a lot of kill threat.
Avatos, but an instant TP coming from Nothing to Say. It's going to be a little late because of the long TP time. So Jin Q gets cleaned up with no response. And Faith Beyond kind of left to his own devices right now, and he has the Helm of Dom going for the Overlord next. And this hero has felt like it's just been kind of... I mean, you guys were talking about this pregame. Quinn, you didn't think this is a very... I mean, you said it was strong, but not OP. It feels like every game we've cast, and maybe we're biased. Every game we've cast, it just felt like it's just taken over the game in a lot of ways.
I mean, when this hero has a free game, the hero is dominant. It's like almost unlike any other hero when it has a free game. The way the boars are able to just like, and the vision are able to just like take over areas and just like push you out like at an extremely expedited rate. It's almost like uncomparable. But the hero does have like weaknesses early and can get kind of trampled. But I mean, here's the Witchblade timing. They're gonna try and shut him down.
Yeah, and they're gonna smoke with it to reveal from the side of OG. Jin Q potentially looking to break the smoke, but Faith Beyond would be a big kill.
Wow, that was
really
it
is broken on the high ground, so yeah, not going to find the space. In fact, they're going to get hurricaned by the Wild Wing, but Yuragi is here to try to help out. Jin Q, he's going to get off the dispose, and here comes the first haunt of the game into a roar. So PSG LGD kind of turned this around, flip-flop what OG wanted to try and accomplish.
Setting up bottom for the Slardar kill. I think they may get it.
Yeah, Bamar, still no ult coming out from Y, but gets off the crush. It's really not going to matter. He is slowed to an absolute crawl, so Nothing to Say again with a kill.
And if he wants that blink, he'll have it right now.
Back to that smoke play, or the smoke break from LGD. Ooh, BZM is walking right into all these creeps.
Yeah, he's going to get the coil. It's going to break immediately at half HP for Faith Beyond with the Nature's Prophet ult coming in as well. So OG able to get something after giving up quite a few kills. And Yuragi has the Hand of Midas, by the way, so just looking to farm. I mean, actually, talk to me about that item, because it feels like it has gained popularity beyond what we expected, especially like DPC. I feel like we almost never saw it.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what made this item spike in popularity so much. I'm not even sure if it's objectively good or if it's just one of these flavor of the month things where everyone sees, hey, I'm at bottom Midas. You'll see that? Maybe it's good. And then everyone else starts buying Midas.
Right.
Yeah, my theory on it was essentially that like people started getting it as a response to other carries having Midas, where it's like, okay, so just so we don't fall behind their carry, like there's probably some other solution to it, but just because like there's not enough time before the major, let's just buy a Midas on our carry as well.
Yep, it's definitely worked out for some teams, and others not so much. Nothing to Say, looking to blink reveal. Smoke is going to be popped. Instant dismember, but the stuns are coming. Nice avalanche coming out. And Nothing to Say actually drops right off the bat as nice TPs coming in from OG. They're only going to lose their support Tiny for now, as Seb looks like he's walking away, but the coil expended onto 2, but the instant roar to try to counteract this, and this is going to get punished potentially onto the Puck, and down goes BZM. So maybe not on the same page as the rest of his team, but still, they found the Pudge at the beginning of the fight.
Mars a psycho. This is insane.
He's continuing on with that puddle like you're talking about, the extra move speed. They're going to get some damage on the tier 1 tower, but Faith Beyond trying to defend, and we can see Nothing to Say coming in on that Putka with the blink hook. Beautifully done, but the avalanche cancels the dismember, and Nothing to Say going to get crushed now as the Faith Beyond Wild Axe is continuing to stack, so Yuragi has to be a bit careful. And even Ame's come to play. The right clicks from Innocence, but another blink in from Nothing to Say. Instant bash from Amar, but Amar's the one that dies this time. Hook not connecting this time, as now they turn their sights to the tier 1, as suddenly this game has just gotten super action-packed.
Yeah, this blink is actually owning. I didn't realize he just doesn't take any damage with the stupid flesh heap spell. He just blinks on them and he's invincible.
And Taiga stuck on the wrong side here. He's going to get disposed by Jin Q as Innocence kind of sticking to the high ground. He's going to get sprouted as Taiga looks to be a free kill for PSG LGD. But you can see Innocence holding his own ground against most of OG, as Roshan actually is the one that takes out Taiga. But PSG LGD still going to be happy with this overall exchange as they... I was going to say they're going to push the tier 1, but maybe they continue to fight there. I'm not sure.
So in the initial fight that led to all of this happening, Nothing to Say blinks in and didn't get off his flesh heap. And so he just melted. He looked like the old Pudge, which is pathetic.
And we have a haunt, and that is for Yuragi. So bottom lane, punished again. PSG LGD.
Yeah, that was a really fast setup from Xingqiu. He showed on bottom lane, and like half a second later, Xingqiu TPs. You see him pinging on the map, and they immediately haunt on this. Like, it's a super clutch play. And in a game like this, where your heroes get rolling super fast, like there's going to be a point where they get to this super dom, they get to this Manta, Pudge starts getting a bit more HP, and there's a world where Dire's heroes can sort of get trampled. Like, you get jumped one time and obliterated, and the map can sort of fall apart.
Dire are scanning.
We're going to see a smoke from OG. They're going to find Xingqiu to start. The Avatos is there, but the hook save. Obviously nothing to say, can't do too much more as Xingqiu gets off the rebound, but that last right click is enough to take him out in the end. But the turnaround now into BZM with the Dismember. Avalanche should try to cancel it. Illusory Orb is out, but he's taking too much damage and will fall as a result as Taiga just trying to toss that fat, juicy Pudge away. He'll be successful for the time being in keeping himself alive, but a roar from Faith Beyond and another death, it looks like, for Yuragi.
This flesh heap, man.
Nice Avalanche again, but it's still double kill for Y as Taiga. He's the one running, still an earn charge on him.
Dagger coming up.
Yep, Dagger's there. Avalanche is going to be up in 1 second. One more axes, and that, with that earn charge, will be enough as, again, PSG LGD getting a great exchange.
Yeah, it's definitely worrisome for OG. With this Manta and the Beastmaster timing coming up, they can also take Rosh very easily, and it's not particularly easy for Dire to contest. They don't have any blinks yet. Slardar might be starting to close in on his, but he's quite behind, so if Radiant plays in formation, they play around the Beast units, they play around this Pudge like looking with hooks and blink dismembers, it can be really hard for Dire to potentially contest a Rosh.
Yeah, nothing to say. Working on a BKB as the Ogre Club right now. And I mean, for a mid-Pudge, how important is it for you to be towards the top of the net worth? I know it's a weird question, but it feels like with the Blink build, you're kind of fighting a little bit more and not farming as much.
Yeah, I think staying up with the rest of the game in terms of net worth is like quite important. It's not a hero that functions very well with no items. Like if you're fat, figuratively and literally, then you...
I know a lot about that, thank you. You looked right at me when you said that, appreciate that.
That's not true. Don't listen to them.
He looks straight at you.
The hero likes money.
Yeah, that's also me. Thanks.
Yeah, that's he looked right at you again. That was very...
This is slander.
Well, OG, or I should say LGD into the pit, and they get a free Rosh. And that is an Aegis for Ame on that Spectre. And I'm a little surprised they only have a 2K lead, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Furion has that Midas we talked about.
Yep, true.
Dire's top tower is
Little mini Alchemist game.
Gulping down that gold.
Stop saying everything's Alchemist.
Everything's an Alchemist game.
You said that about Doom, and Howie was like, no, it's not like
No,
that.
he agreed.
No,
He was just joking on camera, and then off, he's like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know I really agree. Nothing to say. Almost done with the Mithril Hammer, so essentially a recipe away from the BKB, which you said it's not the greatest BKB game, but to be able to channel Dismember is kind of required.
Yeah, it is a very big deal. They only have the crack to cancel it or a Slardar bash, and it's quite hard for Slardar to just run in this game.
I feel like after the BKB, nothing to say probably just goes for like all armor items. Like,
yeah,
Shiva's. I mean, Lotus is a bit of a like, you know, more of like a support item. You know, maybe Shiva's AC. That sounds cool.
Sounds a bit like a core build.
Yeah, you want a core build.
Yeah, you want to be a core.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
under attack.
Well, smokes on each side. The Tier 1 tower not able to be denied. So LGD get another bounty their way. Yep, TP coming to Marcy. Very important there.
Super Dom has been acquired.
Oh, we got the Blink Dismember, but the instant cancel again. Taiga with the quick fingers. Gets the toss-off as well, but he's slowed to a crawl. This will likely be the death of him, trying to deny himself to the tomatoes. But the dispose was there in time. The LGD starting to snowball a bit. 4K lead, still with the Aegis, another 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this stage of the game, if a team ever reaches this point where you start to have to leave your triangle because you can't fight it, things can start to disintegrate very quickly because now you have to split up to farm, otherwise you get no gold, and you're splitting up, so you can be picked off very easily, which is sort of you can see right now. Xingqiu knows, and he's looking in these tree lines.
Yeah.
They might even haunt for vision if he doesn't find him right now.
He's got the right read. It's right there.
Dire are
Yep.
So they did
scanning.
Haunt Provision.
They did, and now they're going to go on top of Yuragi, but he
that
TP's
was so
out in
close.
the nick of time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And now Seb is the one that they shall pursue. Attempting to TP. Will there be a stun? No.
Radiant structures
That was really close to being really bad.
No Keen Optic on Marcy, otherwise that would have been really bad.
It feels like OG have done a pretty decent job of wasting a bit of this Aegis timer. They haven't really gotten a whole lot out of it yet.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower
I
is
don't
under
know
attack.
if this game gets easier for OG going late, though. Like, I feel like Pudge does really well against both Nature's Prophet and Puck. Even Slardar late game doesn't feel that bad for a Pudge, because you do eventually build armor items and you have the damage block.
Yeah.
Spectre against Puck and Nature's Prophet, like, you destroy both of those heroes.
Oh, Bamar and company. Their smoke is broken by Jin Q. BZM gets off the nice coil and Waning Rift onto 2, though. Nicely done from OG as they just take them out swiftly. Just like that, it's a 5v3, but you can see PSG LGD still want to fight as Amar gets initiated on. Most of the dismember damage was done with the Rot combination, and that is 1 death for OG now. As Taiga attempting to run away, but nothing to say with this haste rune. Not much you can do against that. So despite being down in numbers, LGD able to even up the fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the best type of scenario OG can possibly look for. The smoke, they got just this right angle in the 2-man coil. Because, I mean, sort of like Jenkins said, if Radiant scaling is not bad, like if they're in formation and they get this haunt, they play off these hawks and they get the jump, like the supports will die instantly to this blink Pudge. And once the supports are dead, I don't think Dire's cores are able to actually stand and fight. There's too much like swarming going on from Radiant's heroes. So it is a lot of matter about the jump, but Radiant just has way better ways to like push out these lanes and be manly and actually look for the jump with the haunts.
Well, there's going to be more than haunts soon, as Ame was working on an Aghanim Scepter, and he is 600 away from finishing Ags, which I believe the skill is called Shadow Step, but I'm not positive on that one. I usually call it Mini Haunt just in case.
I also do.
Yeah, Mini Shadow Step. Is that what I said? Sure, I'll go with that. But yeah, having something like that is... At first when it came out, people were like, I don't know about that. But then they lowered the cooldown, and it just feels like he can be everywhere all at once. You don't need to expend that like really long cooldown haunt just to get one pick off.
Yeah, it is a very big deal. The map starts to get super spooky. You can even just use it to poke people. If there's some guy with low regen, suddenly he gets baby haunted and he loses half his HP.
Yeah, and there was like LGD likes to make multiple moves at the same time, and that it's like the best item to let you do that, the best skill to let you do that.
There's the baby haunt.
Yeah.
Poke.
Ame not continuing. The BKB was Papa Yuragi, and he had some OG members near him. Looks like he's going to be fine, but Jin Q trying to find Taiga. Had the rebound move speed, nothing to say. We'll have to give up his pursuit, but looks like Ags is going to be next on his list. So you were right, Jenkins. Well done. You got the same item that every Pudge has gotten this entire DPC.
All right. He didn't actually go the rock talent either. He went with the plus armor talent.
Really?
Yeah. Usually you go the 16% rot slow just because when you get the Ags, but I guess he has good disable on the other.
Not the dismember. BZM is just phase shift. Can he blink out of this? But the axes are there as well. So nice shot from LGD covering all bases. Is Jin Q. He's going to get gone on, but here comes the Shadow Step, and Ame is going to try to turn it around with the help of Jin Q, and that turns into a triple kill for Ame.
That seems to be how the Pudge Puck matchup goes, like going late. I've seen that a lot, where you'd think that like because Pudge is kind of fat and slow, that Puck with all this mobility would be able to get away, but like Pudge can chase with Hook, and then you can stand on the phase shift with Rot, and even if he uses the little blink coming from the Puck silence, like still like you're probably going to be kept in the Rot, and you have the blink dismember for when Puck is showing on a creep wave. I don't know exactly why I want to say Pudge is a Puck counter, but it really does feel like that. I bet the matchup is like the win rate probably isn't that good for Puck.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of a lot of things. And I think this matchup can sort of be rectified for Puck if you have other heroes that can go in for you and be manly. But the issue is this bottom lane went so terribly that he doesn't actually have a Slardar or a Tiny able to like fight with him early, right? It's like him and an ET pairing up, and ET is never going to go in. So you end up in this situation where Radiant has this last pick Beast Smasher that's hard to run into, and your runner inners are behind, and you end up in this weird spot where you're just kind of like waiting on this Puck, like looking for opportunities, and that's not really where you want to be when Radiant has, like you said, like 3 blink stuns or something. Eventually you're going to buy an Orchid on the Spectre, and your game's not getting any easier.
I mean, it looks like he's going S and K, but do you think that a Lincoln's might be something that he will need? As this dismember has basically taken him out of the game. Missed hook this time, but the dispose into the right clicks from Ame. Well, the bash comes out from Amar. Nothing to say, just really wants those flesh heap sacks. He's going to get another one. 11
No,
for
he
him.
didn't. He was,
yeah, I was about to
farming
say.
the creep wave, or he was farming the creep camp. He was trying to leave the kill to his Spectre.
Yeah, I've seen that so many times where they just don't seem to... Is it because it doesn't scale nearly as well
I
these
don't
days?
know.
I think people might just forget. It's just not a mechanic. Like, nobody is a Pudge specialist in the pro scene, right?
No.
Well, Jenkins is technically... Well, he's Div 3 now.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I mean, that Gremlo guy plays it, but like...
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That would be in the pros.
But 450 AoE is really small.
it's horrible. It's horrible. If you get the kill with the hook, though, it does extend the AoE.
Yes, of course.
I see. It
One
becomes
would hope.
interplanetary.
That's correct.
If you get the kill while they're in Fountain, do you get a Flesh Heap? Does it matter where they are?
It's only with hook.
It's only with Hook.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Jin Q.
Dire's top tower
With the help of Triceratops here, able to secure a tier 2 tower in the top lane, and that's going to give him the OG outpost. Double damage does spawn in the top.
I lied. I read the tooltip. It does work in Fountain if you get the kill. As long as you get the last hit.
Okay, that's good.
So Urn of Shadows would work too.
Yes. That's very big buff for Pudge.
Very big.
It's extremely important. Yeah.
I mean, 11 stacks is a lot at 24.5 minutes, even with the reduced strength that you get.
It used to be.
It used to be 3, right?
33. Yeah, you'd have 33 strength.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Were they, though? He was actually worse back then.
He was worse. That's
A lot
that's
worse.
Correct. Yeah.
No, we're going to have the jump, but a Manta style taking off the silence, and a mass TP from LGD. Has nothing to say. He's going to miss the hook, but the rebound is there from Jin Q and the toss, so LGD, they only get one, and it's a support. At the very least, Ame lives. In fact, I think he was fine after using that Manta.
Yeah, I mean, LGD just really wants this fight right now. They know that they're way, way stronger, and they're looking for anything they can get. I think OG has actually done a pretty good job of keeping this game within arm's reach. It's not completely out of control yet, despite how hard it's been for them to maneuver around the map for such a long period of time. But you can see in just the way they're like OG is playing, it is a game of cat and mouse for them, and it's not a game of cat and mouse that's getting any easier or a game that they're that happy playing. Like LG is going to keep hunting, they're going to keep scaling. This Slardar has Mom and Blink. He's not like some super beast Slardar who's going to carry the game. Like, it is very worrying if you're OG because this game it's hard to play and you're surviving and you're playing kind of well. You know, you evade, you only lose some support here or there, but it's not like you have a big timing coming. You're just it almost feels like delaying the inevitable.
No big timing. There's no item you think that will...
Yuragi is closing in on the Silver Edge, so I feel like that is one place where maybe Ame can die. Because he feels kind of unkillable at this point. Although this will definitely help him not die, even into the Silver Edge.
Yep. So that's going to be a free Aegis and Shard for LGD.
Nice ward here.
And will the Shard go to Ame with the Dispersion?
What?
Or will it go to Faith Beyond with the Hawks?
How did he know he was there?
Jin Q. We're going to see the Shadow Step come out from Ame. But BZM looks to be A-OK.
All right,
Who
Amar is a
took
wizard.
that Shard?
Yeah, let's
Go on the Shard watch
Yeah,
here.
let's go check out the Shard situation.
Taiga, he's going to get jumped. And Jin Q with all the catch in the world, and it was the Beastmaster. So you got the old dive bomb coming out from Faith Beyond.
I think it was the Spectre, actually.
Okay, it was the Spectre. That's right. Exactly what I said.
Yes, on point.
I mean, the Spectre one's pretty decent. You get that free Spectral Dagger every, 7 seconds or something. But here's the jump from OG, and another bash to come. Ame is just dead. So that is an Aegis already off cooldown. And you can see the rest of PSG LGD are not even remotely close as the Elder Titan ult just deletes him. And Seb, his high five will not be reciprocated because Ame is dead.
Yeah, Ame has 25 base armor right now and only +2 regular or plus armor. So the ET aura just put him to 0. They completely shredded him.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That is one of these deaths where you're like, I don't know, you get this Aegis and you're talking about after, yo, we're so strong, go on the run them, or push to the lanes, whatever. And you can kind of distract him. Maybe you lose focus and you forget that, hey, I can actually die if I'm all by myself, like super by myself.
We'll see what OG can get out of this death timer. Of course, not that he would want to buy back in this situation, but if there was a big fight, this is the best hero to buy back on probably in the game with that Haunt still available. But
Taiga finally got his blink, by the way, so they're looking to make a move.
Okay. Smoke up from OG. You can see LGD not really wanting to play into the hands of OG at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they know once the Spectre's back up, the game reverts to how it was before. It's not like anything changed, them getting this kill. So they're still in a dominant position. They can still play off these jumps. And if they get a good fight, then they will close the map out again. But Puck does have these bots. They have Furion. They're going to rat the silence, and they're not going to make it easy for LGD.
Seb takes a tumble. He's still working on that Ags. 1,500 away from it, in fact.
He's going for Ags.
Just the
That's a 5.
Shard. Yeah, talk to me about that. You might have to hold that thought, Jenkins. Thank you for looking right at me. As the Haunted actually expended as Amar attempting to TP out, but the Roar keeps him in place. And LGD find another in the form of Taiga. So 3 pickoffs across the map as LGD look to be taking firm control of this game.
I like that Seb is going for the Ags just because I feel like looking at, you know, Yuragi's hero, Nature's Prophet, looking at Puck, I don't see these heroes scaling to beat a Spectre unless some other heroes are also scaling and doing very well. And so, like, if Seb has Ags and, you know, gets the cleave talent and the game goes, like, really, really late game, and, like, if Amar can somehow get his net worth back.
Yuragi.
Oh, that was close.
That was close.
Like, I think OG needs some crazy late game scenario to win this one, or some very good pickoff based on LGD's mistakes.
Yeah, but the fact that the Aegis was taken out so fast, now I don't even know. You just wait for the next one, or because their high ground isn't. I mean, they have Beastmaster, and I'm not sure if they're going to get the shard on the Viper, but it is a support Viper. Your high ground building taking is kind of eh.
Yeah, you're most likely planning to just keep hunting them for the foreseeable future. They have insane pickoff. OG is smoked right now.
Ace route available, nothing to say. He's going to try to take it. He's going to get Avatos for his trouble, though. Pops the BKB, trying to go for the dismember, but again, Seb's ult is a lot of damage.
He had a haste, too. He opted not to pop it and to go for the dismember there. Maybe he thought that the healing is the only way that he would survive that.
So 60 seconds without nothing to say. OG, perhaps with a bit of an opening. But obviously LGD extremely poised, as they have been for the last 2 years, it feels like.
That's true. That is true.
So they're not really going to do anything too rash, I feel like. I've watched a lot of NA Dota where that will happen. I think Quinn will agree that there's many teams.
No comment.
That will blow this lead easily. Oh, a Slardar Ags. Okay. My
Dang.
goodness. Amar. So now you get all these stats when you're on top of water.
I mean, I kind of like this. He had the BKB queued up. I feel like if he goes in and soaks the Dismember, soaks the Beastmaster Primal Roar, like these are things that go through BKB, right? But with that status resist, yeah, that seems pretty good. To take a long fight against the Haunt too.
Yeah, but we're going to see the Shadow Step with the instant crush from Amar, and Ame is going to bail as a result. But yeah, not just from the crush creating a puddle, but like you said earlier, the Corrosive Haze changes where it drops a puddle for you. That synergizes directly with the Agnum Scepter on Slardar. Very cool to see. So he's going to be way tankier now.
Might get chucked.
Yeah, he could get chucked out of it, which would be an issue. And what you're going to see, he's going to be brought back into the puddle. The Roar is there. And yeah, he's tanky, but PSG LGD just do 1 million damage.
Yeah, I don't think that worked out the way he was anticipating. He's like, oh, come on, come roar me. I dare you. All right.
Now there's an Ags on Seb officially. So that's the BKB based on how many units you hit, right?
Yes. It is very strong. He can punch people quite hard. Spectre is pretty bad against ET late game in some circumstances.
Oh, Coil misses from BZM. He's going to have to hightail out as a result. Nothing to say. Jumps in, knowing that this is on cooldown now. Seb is mega dead. Gets off his ult, but really to not much avail. Another hook. Oh! Yuragi somehow able to sidestep that. Taiga not going to be so lucky, though. That's 2 quick kills there for LGD, and still 3 dead with Amar on the sideline, as now they can poke the high ground.
Dire's middle tower.
And still not even going for Ags, nothing to say. He actually switched it up and went for the Shivas.
I don't think he needs damage. I agree with this build. I mean, he'll probably go for Ags now just because there's not much else to buy. Maybe like Strength Blink, if anything.
Right, that's a set of racks for LGD, and opting to potentially go for the top. No, blink out before the Waning Rift connects.
What a beast.
Such quick fingers from Jin Q. Gets a lot of use out of them by rubbing that belly, of course.
Yep.
That seems to be good luck for everybody.
Practice for the fingers.
Even for Sonics.
Yes.
That was apparently good luck. Helped you get that one-game victory.
A belly rub did occur.
Yep.
Not by me.
Yeah, Jack
Jack did the honors.
Jack's a good lad.
Yes.
There's a Basher now online for Ame. And obviously he's had that Scotty for quite a while. He is pretty ridiculously farmed. I don't know how you kill this guy without getting a perma-stun with the break. Like, you need so many things to fall in line to get this kill. And then even if you do, the rest of LGD are extremely farmed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just these birds flying around all the time, and there's this Pudge who can blink in and give Shiva's vision. Like, you just see so much, and it's so hard to play if you're OG because there's so many heroes that just die if they get going on. Not everyone is evasive as the puck.
Yep, Taiga looking to go for the outpost, but he's going to die instead. 10K lead for PSG LGD. Nothing to say. Still smoked up, so could go for this kill. He's going to go in with... Actually, the Lincoln Sphere was there for BZM, so Dismember will be canceled, but still a lot of damage coming out from Nothing to Say, and they're going to clean up 7 quite easily. But at the very least for OG, they don't lose BZM. Although Yuragi's getting bashed in his own base with the Manta style and so much damage coming out from the Desolate, this might be GG territory as PSG LGD absolutely crushing in game number 2. 37-12 scoreline. And this was a great performance from basically everybody in LGD. Started with the Putka, of course.
Did we just witness another shellacking? Was this a backward shellacking?
I don't think this was a top hat, but yeah, it was on the low scale of shellacking, I would say.
It was on the scale. Turns out it seems like wins these days just get shellacking ratings. But I don't know. I feel like that is this patch. It's like usually a stomp in either direction. Are we due for the return of a comeback patch, Quinn?
Never like the Spectre patch, please. Never again. Spectre Storm.
What did you think of the Spectre?